Hi, I'm Julia Cordova. Thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button to my channel. I really appreciate it. And today, what I want to do is I want to talk to Michael Listman again about the VIX. And I want to figure out whether or not we've reached the top of the VIX curve, or whether or not we're going to go back and forth, or whether or not we're just going to get smushed. Okay, anyway, so I asked Michael to join me via video conference, but he's feeling shy. I don't know if he just I don't know why he doesn't want to be on camera. So it's just me on camera, and then I'm gonna share his screen and I'm just gonna ask him questions, and we're going to just all listen to his brilliance. If you've been following us on Twitter, Michael and I are pretty much like, he's my work husband. Like, I'm just asking him questions all the time, and I feel like we're working together really well in terms of me knowing support levels and reading charts. And him, I don't even know where he gets his numbers from, but they're really good numbers. So it's awesome when we both agree on something. And I think we both in direct message sort of kept each other sane a little bit over the past couple weeks. So anyway, I'm gonna hit the button and make it go to Michael's screen, and this is gonna be really fun, like from a nerd perspective. So okay. Okay, Michael, are you there?
I am here.
Awesome. So what are we looking at right now?
So a lot of people were confused by the drop in the VIX Thursday and Friday, and everybody's wondering, okay, why did that happen? Are we going to go back up? Are we going to touch 130 again? Is there still a chance to hit 150 in TVIX land? Are we going to visit 1,000 again? Are we going to get to 1,200? But I just kind of want to give what I'm looking at and why, at least my idea as to why it went back down. So what I have here is the SPX closing prices, the daily change for each of those prices, and over on the last column, I've got the percent change each day.
Okay.
So the yellow highlighted area were the 8 days that we had the huge run up in the VIX. I actually probably should have put it in another column, maybe the VIX level to go along with that, but I've got a chart for that behind it that you'll see in a second.
Okay.
But as you can see, these percent moves are huge. I mean, they're all, what's the smallest one there? 4.9%, but they're all 5% or much higher. And a piece of information that I can't find anywhere is an appropriate level for the VIX given a daily move of X%. I've heard the common quoted number is a 1% daily move equals a VIX of 19. And I've heard, for instance, Bob Pisani on CNBC mention that a VIX of 80 represents a 4% daily move for the size.
I need to stop you right there, because one of the
Okay.
things I read you tweet before was that it's not about the size of the move. It's about that sounded dirty, but it's not about the size of the move. It's about the velocity in which the move took place. That's literally, I don't think you said it that way, but that is exactly what you did say, right? That's what you said.
Correct. So that last column there is the speed of the move. If it's moving down 12%, that's fast.
Right, but is that
VIX is
right? But is that per day, or is that per okay? I guess I understand what you're saying, but that seems to me not the speed. That seems more like the distance. I guess it's the distance over a single day. I don't know.
Yes.
A really long time.
It's the distance of it's a daily move up or down of larger and larger percentages is going to make a larger and larger VIX.
Right.
VIX is a 30-day look ahead. So traders are saying, okay, this is what we expect it to happen over the next 30 days. So a VIX of 19, we're saying that over the next 30 days, we expect 1% moves. So in a VIX of 80, we're expecting 4% moves every day.
Okay.
So you can see what it took over those 8 days, what it took to get VIX up to I forgot what we touched, 80, 83, 85. I don't remember what our high was.
But it wasn't a new high, right? It hasn't reached a new high yet.
No, it was not. It was real close, but it wasn't an official new high. But if you look at what happened on Thursday, look at that change in SPX, 0.5%. I mean, that's gutting the momentum, just gutted it. We hit 4.3 the day after, but that 0.5% right there just gutted the VIX volatility,
I almost want
which is why you saw it fall back.
I almost want you to have another column here that would say, because that's the finish line, right? But I would actually like the whole entire range, like the plus and minus percent, the range. Would that have that I mean, I don't remember Thursday. I mean, every single day now is like, it's like it just leaves my brain. I guess I don't remember whether or not it went way high up and way high down and then just kind of ended flat. I think it did just kind of the whole day. I keep touching my face. It's really hard not to touch your face. Like, this is a problem. Okay, so but what you're saying is the finish line is that if you take the finish line and divide it by the day, that's the velocity. You're not saying that it's, I don't know. I think it would have to do more with the range, right?
Well, there are lots of different studies. Some will take into account the intraday moves, and some will only look at closing values. I'm not 100% positive, but I think VIX, for most purposes, looks at closing values only.
Okay.
So let me.
That's why you're here. I'm learning. We're learning.
So let me show you the SPX chart. I've got SPX down here. Since the other moves are so violent, it doesn't look like much dropping from 3,200 down to 2,200, but it is what it is. This purple line is the historical volatility, the realized volatility for SPX, and this yellow line is the actual VIX level itself. So you can see when it started, and here's the 8-day period from here to here. You can see it jumped all the way up. We dropped down to that 0.5% change day. It's reflected in the horizontal for historical volatility. And then also it's starting to drag down the VIX and keeps dragging it down. So
okay.
I could be committing a horrible chart crime here, but from my perspective, that's what I see as to how I understand it.
There are no chart crimes on my channel. We have beautiful, simple charts over here that, I mean, I'm surprised Bloomberg and CNBC aren't beating down my door. Okay. No chart crimes commit here. Okay.
So if you know, from this point, okay, that's history. That's where we've been. That's how we got to where we are now.
Okay.
How do we get back to UVXY 130? Well, we probably have to have a repeat of this kind of ranges. If you start to see, if you start to see more 1% moves or 2% moves days, VIX is going to drop. It has to.
But it could happen in 1 or 2 days if we had like a limit down and then a limit down and then a stop trading, right?
It could, but mind you, we had this 7.6 day, and again, I wish I had a VIX column with it so we could track.
Oh yeah.
But it took more than that to move it up there. It took more than the 12% to move it up there. I believe we hit the VIX high. Well, we hit it. Yeah, actually, the 12% day was our VIX high, but it was awfully close, even on this day here, because we're maintaining that 4% plus move as a 30-day rollout average.
Okay.
So if if we want it to go back up to 130, we're going to need to see numbers like this one here, this 0.5%. Those have to go away. We need to see 5%, 4%, 9s and 10s.
Okay.
And I have no way of predicting that, but if we want to get back up there, we need to continue that type of movement.
I got you. And so I was kind of pontificating about this a little bit earlier. I mean, we know about the virus. I think we're beginning to understand that when we extrapolate all of the shutdowns and the whatevers, that we're going to get major, major problems. But I almost feel like in order for it to keep consistently going down this way, things would almost have to accelerate beyond what we think is going to happen now. And I believe what we think is going to happen now is already really bad. But I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, that's the problem is nobody knows. You can sit there and
I know.
sweat over the numbers every day.
I just feel like some bank has to explode or something. That would do it. That would take us higher. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, you've got the firms putting out their GDP estimates, and initially everybody's like, well, we're only going to have one really bad quarter, and we're rebounding on the second quarter. Well, now that's starting to change. Now they're putting in two down quarters,
Right.
And it could just keep getting worse.
That's true.
So, or it could get better.
Right. Yeah, no, it could. It could all disappear if all of a sudden, like, it could all go away, and nobody would know why, and because we have very short attention spans, we probably wouldn't even think to ask, not even worry about it anymore, and move on with our lives, and then it'll crash. Okay, so, so can we talk about the spike that happened on the 12% day, and why you were sort of hesitant at the time to call it a top, because it didn't quite get out of the range where you felt safe saying, okay, that's it, on that day, I think.
Right. Well, I have been looking for what I've called a flush out spike, where it just shoots way up in a single move, hits some peak, and then drops back down very quickly, doesn't turn around, doesn't look back or pause or anything. It did most of that, but it paused. And you can see from the next day, it just held up. So I just didn't feel like that was the full capitulation from sellers. Like we have more to go down.
Right.
But
I still think
going down more in SPX does not necessarily mean going down more or going up more in VIX.
Because it's the speed. Like if it started going down 1 or 2% a day, the VIX could actually decline, right?
Yeah, if SPX drops 1% a day forever, VIX is going to go back to 19.
Okay. So it's not about the level, it's about the speed, back to our earlier point. And the speed,
right.
What percent per day it's moving, and the sort of the guideline we're using for that is 4%.
Well, 4% was, we hit 80, which is going to translate into a 4% move. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't smooth out these numbers to see if somewhere it was, a moving average of 4% over 30 days, but that's going to be the accepted number. So we would need to see a 5% extended rate to get to a VIX of 100, or a 6% rate to get to VIX 120.
Or we could have that like 20, is it 20% where it closes down?
Yeah, but again, that's only one day. So 20% gets you a market halt. Go home for the day.
Yeah, well, we could have 2 of those in a row. So it could be 2 days, right?
Yes.
But that would be scary and horrible. It really would be. I mean,
Oh yeah.
from a human perspective, not from like a trader perspective. It's terrible. Okay. Okay.
So,
Um, so
you know,
I don't think it's done because I don't like the thousand. It was 1000.00. I'm not into that. Like, nope, not buying it. It's I'm sorry, that's just too perfect. Not even like 1,000 and a penny. Come on. And I, it's not because I didn't have a sell order at 1,000 and a penny. But no, I'm still not. I bought. I think some people on Twitter know, because I responded to them, that I went back in a little bit for TVIX on Friday. Not a huge amount because I'm not like, you know, I didn't know, but I definitely, because I was actually scared. But you scared me, Michael. You kept me in it before, and this time you scared me a little bit. But I know, because I don't know for sure. And I mean, by all we know, like the VIX could calm down by the morning, the other markets could pick up. I mean, I think if China starts to come back online really quickly, that could help. You know, I don't know. I don't know.
well, I mean, the thing is it can still be a very bloody future for the VIX or for SPX, and VIX might never see these 80 levels again. So
Got
TVIX might not touch 1,000 again. That might be it.
Nah, I don't. I don't believe you. No, but what I thought was going to happen, and that's why I kept asking you, how much lower can it go before it can still go back up and hit the 1,200? That's why I kept asking you that. So what is the answer to that in general? When something spikes, how much lower can it go and then still reasonably have a chance to go and spike higher than the previous spike?
There would be nothing that's out of bounds. You know, if it went down and made a new all-time low, I would say, you know, that spike is done and this is a new spike. But as far as the volatility in the volatility that you're seeing, there's no limit. I mean, it could, you know, TVIX could go back down to 200 and decide, oh, wait a second, this is really bad, and then go up to 2,000. There's nothing stopping it.
No, but I think you had some kind of studies before about how far typically it would be able to go down and come back. I mean, just in general, wasn't it 50%?
I mean, if it retraces 50%, and looking at the historical occurrences, it's probably done. And even now, you know, it pulled back quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, it could be done. It might not crack 1,000 again for TVIX.
It's possible. So when are
It's
you?
possible.
It's possible. So when are you going to be able to give us more insight? Like what event are you looking for to be able to say, oh, no, it's definitely going to go higher than the previous high, or just wait until the previous high? And then, because it's, you know, I think I said this for gold a while back, that if you wanted to be safe and wait, so like if TVIX, for example, got to 1,000 again, even though it would be 1,000, I mean, I think it would be a good bet at that point, especially because of how far it's gone down already, that it's going higher than 1,000. Would you agree with me?
Well, at this point, we've touched a high. We've pulled way back. It's really, at this point for me anyway, it's market fundamentals and buyer sentiment. If I was always looking for the capitulation, the big sell-off, it hasn't happened, and I still think that has to happen. But it might not be preceded with an 8-day stretch of 7, 8, 9% moves. So
Okay. So what you're saying is,
we could still get that. We could still get that capitulation, but not get the VIX back up to those previous levels.
okay, now I'm understanding your language. Okay, so what you're saying is, like, as a volatility shorter, we could see that beautiful spike, the perfect spike, not like the last one we had where it was like, but we could see that, and then you would feel comfortable saying, you know what, now I'm going to short, I'm going to short this. And I mean, you already did to some extent, right? Like,
Yep. Yep.
Right. And that was cool because I didn't have, like, I was out of it at that point, but like, okay, I see. Well, this is good information. I feel like I learned a lot. What other smart things do you have to say?
Well, this is going to be a very challenging period now that I think VIX is probably topped out, but the market hasn't finished selling off. So you're just going to have unsettling volatility for probably the next 6 months, and probably a gradually decaying VIX. But just going all in short now, depending on your duration, you could get seriously burned if you're not careful.
Okay, yeah, I've seen a few volatility traders who are not you, who had gone in short way before the spike there, and I felt really badly for them. That's why I like you so much. I feel like you said you were conservative once. I just feel like you're really good. I feel like I like you so much. I think you are brilliant.
Well, thank you. But I think the most important part is not just being right, because Lord knows I'm not right all the time. Or
right and wrong about having to do brilliant. But you are brilliant. Yeah, you are. You really are. I think everybody should follow. I do.
But it's having a plan for when your trade goes wrong. How do you manage it? Do you have a stop loss and you just say, okay, I lose 5% and I'm out? Or do you have a hedge? Like if you've got a bunch of long stuff in your book, you put on a hedge like 50 cent, I'm going to buy a bunch of these VIX calls to protect my book. Maybe that's how you protect your positions. There's lots of ways to do it. It's got to mesh with your style, how you're comfortable trading, what your risk tolerance is. There's nobody that you can follow and produce the same results.
Okay. These are exciting. I don't know if exciting is not the right word. These are volatile times, Michael.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for just everything. And so, and you did post earlier on Twitter what the numbers at that time of UVIXI and TVIX were. I want to say again that you have a spreadsheet. So if people want a spreadsheet to be able to calculate UVIXI off hours, like contact Michael. I hate to say that, Michael, don't you have some kind of form that people can fill out? Because I feel like I'm just I don't want a lot of people to keep contacting you so that I don't have good access to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very selfish that way. I want you to be able to respond to me. But do you have a way for people to contact you to get the spreadsheet?
If they DM me through Twitter an email address, I can send them a copy of this spreadsheet. And somebody asked me just a moment ago if you could make this work for TVIX, which of course you can. These aren't going to work. The ProShare links aren't going to work, but you'll have to get the TVIX asset value, and you'll have to come into this cell where the whole formula is. This is where all the magic happens, and you need to change this 1.5 leverage multiplier to 2. And once you do that, all these other values are going to be the same.
Yeah, isn't that all you have to do? Why would you have to do underlying asset value if you're just doing a multiplier?
Well, the net asset value is important because that was the 415 closing price of UVXY or TVIX. You need that because that's what the change is multiplied by for the following day. So a levered fund says, okay, we follow a benchmark. In this case, it's SPVX SP.ID. That is the benchmark for these guys. So if this goes up 10% in a day, UVXY is going to go up 15% in that day. TVIX is going to go up 20% that day.
Okay.
And they do this at 4:15 every day. ProShares and who's TVIX's sponsor, whoever it is, they set the price based on the day's change. They say, okay, this is our asset value at the end of the day, and we rebalance all of our futures holdings, our swaps holdings, all of the things that they use to get exposure to produce that leverage for the next day.
Okay, Michael, how much of a pain in the ass is it for you just to add a TVIX thing to this? Because like, I'm talking, I understand what you're saying. It's like a lot.
No, it would be easy. The only problem is since I don't trade TVIX, I haven't really looked at their perspective or anything like that. But I don't know that they publish, and I think I heard Vance maybe say that he hasn't seen them publish the relative weighting of the two futures contracts. So you would have to get that from ProShares, and this is what it is as of last Friday. 25 by 4.
All right. Whatever.
But you can get the futures change from just about anywhere.
Okay. Well, anything else that you want to add for our lovely viewing audience?
No, I think we gave enough.
Okay. Oops. I don't know what I'm doing. I was gonna switch the screen, but oh, hi. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate it, and I guess we'll see each other and like message each other on Twitter.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Bye.
Bye.
Let me see I don't know how to stop the recording. Hopefully I did record it.
Well, that would be horrible if you didn't.
Oh my God. I could. I'm like that. Now I got it. It's recording. Okay. Bye.